In the high-stakes world of professional darts, a sport where legends are forged under pressure and underdogs can capture the imagination of millions, few stories are as surreal, shocking, and deeply human as that of Kirk Shepard. Once a factory worker making £5.25 an hour, Shepard shot to international fame as a 21-year-old unknown who battled his way to the final of the 2008 PDC World Darts Championship. He was a 1,000-to-1 outsider, with no manager, no sponsors, and no experience in major tournaments. But over 2 life-altering weeks, he became a symbol of sporting magic, before spiraling into obscurity under the weight of fame, personal struggles, and the debilitating condition known as Dartitis. This is the improbable story of the man who stunned the world, and the price he paid for flying too close to the sun. Before darts fans ever saw him on TV, Kirk Shepard was already a known talent among insiders. He burst onto the youth darts scene in the early 2000s, winning the Winmau World Youth Masters in 2003 and claiming the British Teenage Singles Championship twice, in 2004 and 2006. He was even named BDO Young Player of the Year 2 years in a row, 2005 and 2006, a rare accomplishment that hinted at big things. At just 18, he reached the final of the BDO Gold Cup, and in 2006, made the quarterfinals of the England Open. These achievements, though impressive, still positioned him as a fringe prospect rather than a future star. That same year, he made the leap to the PDC circuit. What followed was anything but smooth. Shepard's first year in the PDC was largely forgettable. He struggled to adapt, managing only a handful of last 32 finishes in non-televised events. By the end of 2007, he was ranked 142nd in the world, a name buried deep in the standings, with few expecting much from him. So when he entered the final chance PDPA qualifier for the 2008 World Championship, he wasn't on anyone's radar. But that's when the fairy tale began. Shepard's route to the 2008 World Championship final defied belief and statistics. He beat a string of top-tier players: Terry Jenkins, Mick McGowan, Barry Bates, Peter Manley, and Wayne Mardle. Remarkably, he never averaged over 90 in any match, and in most cases, his opponents missed crucial darts that would have ended his run. He admitted later, "What kept me going was being the underdog. I was riding the wave. I went up on that stage fearless and relaxed because I had nothing to lose." Each victory sent shockwaves through the darts world, none more so than his semi-final win over Mardle, who had just defeated Phil Taylor and was the new tournament favorite. But Shepard, with no history of major success, beat him 6-4 to reach the final. When he walked onto the stage at Alexandra Palace to face John Part on New Year's Day 2008, he wasn't just playing for a title, he was living a dream. Unfortunately, the dream ended harshly. He lost 7-2, registering the lowest 3-dart average by a finalist in PDC World Championship history. Still, he walked away with £50,000, an astronomical leap from the £16,970 he had earned in his entire career prior. "I went from being a normal lad working in a factory to back-page headlines and a nice big paycheck," Shepard recalled years later. Fame, fortune, and freefall. The glow of success quickly turned into a harsh spotlight. With no manager or support team around him, Shepard was left to navigate the pressures of sudden fame alone. The rapid transition from factory floor to front-page headlines left him disoriented. He began gambling and drinking, using his new income to chase thrills rather than build stability. "I went through a crazy phase," Shepard admitted. "I had suddenly come into all this fame and didn't know how to deal with it." In hindsight, reaching that final at Ali Pali was too much, too soon. Between 2015 and 2021, Shepard made a determined, though grueling, effort to regain his place in the professional circuit. Every 2 years, he entered Q School, the grueling qualifying tournament where dreams are either revived or shattered. In 2015, he failed to regain his tour card, but fought on through the PDC Challenge Tour, reaching 2 finals and winning 1. He also qualified for 9 Players' Championship events that year, making it to the top 32 once. Modest but hard-earned progress. The following year, 2016, Shepard once again missed out on a tour card. Still, he reached a semi-final on the Challenge Tour and remained competitive. But it wasn't until 2017 that he finally broke through again, defeating veteran Ronnie Baxter on the 4th and final day of Q School to win back his PDC Tour card. That year saw him reach the last 32 of the UK Open, and he made it to the last 16 of a Players' Championship event. He also advanced to round 2 of the Dutch Darts Masters. Yet the momentum never quite returned. Despite flashes of the old spark, Shepherd couldn't convert them into a consistent top-level presence. In 2018, he reached the 3rd round of the UK Open and twice made the 2nd round on the European Tour. But these were isolated moments. The deeper rounds of major tournaments remained elusive. At the 2019 Q School, Shepherd repeated his previous miracle, clinching his tour card again on the final day. His form slightly improved. That year, he reached round 3 of the Players' Championship several times and made his first European Tour last 16 appearance at the Danish Darts Open, beating Vincent van der Voort and former world champion Rob Cross before falling to Chris Dobie. His campaign in the PDC Home Tour 2 in 2020 saw him reach round 3, and he also made 1/8 final appearance on the Pro Tour that year. But it wasn't enough to retain his tour card. Once more, he was back to square one. In 2021, he fought back yet again. Winning his tour card for a 4th time, Shepherd reached the 3rd round at 3 Players' Championship events and qualified for the UK Open, where he beat Gordon Mathers but lost to Jim Williams in the 2nd round. But behind the scenes, something more serious had started to take hold. Dartitis, when the body betrays the will. On August 4th, 2021, Kirk Shepherd played what would be his final PDC match, for now. Not long after, he began experiencing an increasingly dreaded affliction among darts professionals, Dartitis. "I don't know where it came from," Shepherd recalled. "I was just stood there on the hockey one day. I went to throw a dart and my arm wouldn't go forward." The condition robbed him of the one simple mechanic his entire game relied on, the ability to release the dart. As Dartitis took hold, his confidence shattered. He tried to push through it but suffered devastating defeats, including a 6-0 loss that prompted him to go home and say to his partner, "I'll never throw another dart again." His anxiety spiked. Panic attacks began to accompany every match. The game that had once made him feel invincible now triggered dread. He returned his tour card voluntarily before the 2022 season. He disappeared from the sport, going nearly 18 months without leaving his house. But Shepherd is nothing if not resilient. With the help of counseling and support from the PDC and the Professional Darts Players Association, PDPA, he slowly began to rebuild his life. He trained and qualified as an electrician. He became a father of 3. Though he no longer plays professionally, he's at peace and even leaves the door slightly ajar. "I might have left darts, but darts has never left me," he said in 2024. In hindsight, reaching that final at Ali Pali was too much, too soon. "I wasn't ready for it." Today, Shepherd lives a quiet life, working with his hands not on the hockey, but on wires and circuits. It's a different kind of craft, but one that brings him stability. In a sport built on characters, Kirk Shepherd's story stands apart. He didn't dominate, he didn't last, but for 2 weeks in 2008, he broke every rule and still reached the summit. He remains the only player in PDC history to reach the World Championship final without averaging above 90. He went from 5.25 pounds an hour to 50,000 pounds overnight. He was a spark of madness in a sport often ruled by method, and for that he'll never be forgotten. In darts, where heroes are often measured by titles, Kirk Shepherd reminds us that sometimes the most unforgettable stories are those that burn fast and burn out.